Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This ceremony session of 26th Edition District is now in session. The Honorable Reagan Miller, Judge presiding, be seated and come to order.
All right, thank you, Deputy. All right. Welcome, everyone, to this ceremonial session of, we'll call it Superior Court today, even though there's a District Court judge presiding over it. This is the swearing-in ceremony for Judge Yolanda M. Trotman. And one of the first things I want to do is recognize who's here today. We have a number of judges, and I have warned some of them at least that it is my practice that they have to stand and introduce themselves as opposed to me calling out their names, because they're all beginning to look alike to me, and I may get some of them wrong. So, Judge Brown, if you'll start.
Good afternoon, Charlotte Brown, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Gary Henderson, District Court Judge. Bruce Rosh, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth Trosh, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Donnie Hoover, District Court Judge.
Sean Smith, District Court Judge.
Ron Chapman, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, David Strickland, District Court Judge.
Donald Harrison Jr., District Court Judge.
Becky Tin, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Kimberly Best Staten, District Court Judge. Good afternoon, Elisa Chin-Gary, Mecklenburg County Clerk of Superior Court and Judge of Probate.
Good afternoon, Karen Edie Williams, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, I'm Ty Mans, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Gina Kohler, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Alicia Brooks, District Court Judge.
Christy Mann, District Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Linwood Fowles, Resident Superior Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Lisa Bell, Resident Superior Court Judge.
Good afternoon, Carla Archie, Resident Superior Court Judge.
That's great. Now I've given them all time to speak, so we don't have to worry about them speaking anymore. We only have this courtroom for a limited amount of time, and I turn it back over to Judge Dowden so that he can finish his trial here. I don't know if there are any elected officials in the audience today who want to stand and introduce themselves. Do we have any elected officials? There's one. Go ahead.
County Commissioner at Large.
Good afternoon, Trevor Fuller, County Commissioner at Large and Chair of the Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners.
Herman Carmichael, Chair for Mecklenburg County.
I see the representative from our federal benches here. Judge Care, stand and introduce yourself.
David Care, United States Magistrate Judge.
Looking around, are you your other colleagues here, Judge Care?
I do not believe so.
Okay, all right. Any other elected officials?
Judge Adams is in the corner. You can't see her.
Where?
Take her lunch.
She's hiding. She's hiding. Okay, that's okay. We'll get to her in a minute. All right. What I would like to do at this point is go ahead and have Dr. Clifford Jones do an invocation for us, and so we can go ahead and get started. Dr. Jones.
Okay here?
Yes, sir. Anywhere you want to stand. Now, I've heard there's anything you want to do.
Gotta have your seat. Let us pray. It is always an humbling experience, gracious God, for us to reverence your presence publicly. We thank you that in your wise providence you made us, and you made each of us unique. And you said it was good. So we say thank you.
Thank you.
We ask you even now, in this gathering, that we don't divorce your presence from any place we may be, for the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the worlds and all who dwell therein. You know the purpose for which we have gathered. So we just ask that you would bless this young lady now as she's preparing to take on this additional responsibility, making decisions that will directly impact the lives, in some cases, of generations yet unborn. So we ask for an extra measure of wisdom and faith for her. All of those, oh Lord, who are here, who make decisions daily, I ask that you also bless them with an extra measure of wisdom and faith. Guide us and keep us in your care as we celebrate together even now. For we ask this prayer in the name of our Lord, and we thank you for your gift to us in him. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Michelle Trotman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as a district court judge.
as a district court judge.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Yolanda Michelle Trotman,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina
and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
which
are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, maintain and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Yolanda Michelle Trotman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will administer justice
that I will administer justice
without favoritism
without
to
favoritism
anyone or to the state,
to anyone or to the state,
that I will not knowingly take, directly or indirectly, any fee, gift, gratuity, or reward whatsoever for any matter or thing done by me or to be done by me by virtue of my office, except the salary and allowances by law provided, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge all the duties of District Court Judge of the North Carolina General Court of Justice, all the duties of District Court Judge of the North Carolina General Court of Justice, to the best of my ability and understanding, and consistent with the Constitution and the laws of the state. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
give your comments, or at least that's the order I'd like to do it in. So is there anyone who wants to make any comments on this?
That looks good on you.
Yes.
And they've been told they're limited to 3 minutes.
Yes. We'll start with my Uncle Fred. Right in the middle.
Right up there.
Good morning. I will be very brief. First of all, just a few comments about Judge Trotman's grandparents, her family. First, I will speak in reference to Judge Trotman's great-grandfather on the Trotman side. Her parents were the late Mr. Miles and Betty Trotman. Both were born in slavery, and their occupation is not known. Her grandfather, William Henry Trotman, and grandmother Alice Trotman were born and was known as Pastor W.H. Trotman. Her parents was, as the judge before stated, the Judge John Trotman, pastor, Josephine Trotman, mother, and Josephine Trotman was my sister. In high school, her mother was a high school biology teacher, and Yolanda's mom wanted Yolanda to be a teacher. Yolanda finished college and taught a couple of years to satisfy her mom. And now then she went into law school, practiced law to satisfy herself, and now she has ascended to judgeship. On her family side, on the Grant family, her grandmother was Augusta Grant, who was born in Northampton County, North Carolina in 1941. He passed away he was born in 1836, correction. He passed away in 1941. He was 105 years old. He was held by 2 slaves in the slavery era. He was held by 2 slave owners. One was known as the Flight family. One was the Grant family, and apparently, talking to Northampton County people and the old people, when he was freed, he decided to take the Grant's name, and we stand today as the Grants. He left slavery, was a very determined man. He bought a 10-acre farm. We understand for $50 an acre. He added to that 48 additional acres, and then subsequently added 86, well, we thought it was 96 acres, but recently we had it surveyed and it ended up being 86 acres, so like 144 acres total, and it's still in our family today. The grandfather was Augusta Grant Jr. He was also born in Northampton County, North Carolina. His grandmother was Lula Mayfield Grant. She was born in Southampton County, Cortland, Virginia. They married and they resided in Northampton County, North Carolina. Between the two grandparents, my grandfather being 105 years old, my dad being 91 and a half years, that's like 196 years, I think, almost 200 years they lived, in total. My father, he was a farmer, and he farmed all his life, were dedicated. I'd like to add one more thing to my grandfather's, what he accomplished. When he was freed, when he bought those few acres of land, it was full of trees, and he dug up all the stumps and turned it into farmland. And by the time he passed, the 58 acres that ended up being 10 acres at the initial, ended up like 48 acres of farmland. He dug up the stumps manually and turned it into farmland. He was a farmer, and my dad, he followed suit. He was a farmer. And so, Yolanda, you got some good good, yes, laid out before you. And we know that you are a hard worker, and we just hope and you'll continue and do a good job for the state of North Carolina. Thank you. Oh, yes. And by the way, I brought one thing more. I had found a picture of Yolanda's parents. Her parents, the Reverend Trotman and the mother Josephine Trotman. And also, this is a surprise for Yolanda. I found something else. When she was a little girl, I came to her church, her father's church, and I christened her when she was about, I think, 6 years old.
6 months.
6 months old. And thank you, Yolanda.
I'll try to be brief, but most ministers are long-winded. I'll keep it brief. So I'm here to talk about the correlation between what Yolanda's doing now and the community. I'm the new elected president of the NAACP here in Mecklenburg, Charlotte, and she's been an absolute blessing to me. In fact, as I look around this room, we have to understand we're at a fork in the road. There's so much going on in this country and so much going on here in North Carolina. And we're in the fork of the road that determines who we will be in terms of humanity. How will we interact with one another? And if we say we love God, then we know that God is love, so that should be the foundation of everything that we do. And that is what Yolanda depicts. She depicts not only love, but tenacity, passion, altruism, and more importantly, she is stubborn. Now, for some of you in here, you may not believe that's a good quality, but because of what we're going through in this country, you need that, to have convictions and stand by your convictions. And so I stand here today as a woman who's proud of another woman who I know will do an excellent job, not only for the judicial system, but for the community and for all people of North Carolina. I love you, I believe in you, I pray for you, and I stand with you. God bless you.
May it please the court. Members of the judiciary and the Honorable Yolanda S. Trotman. I'm absolutely honored to be here. It's close enough. I'm grateful to be here as a friend, as a mentee, as a colleague, and honored to have been part of the campaign. So I first want to tell you what I've learned about Yolanda Trotman in the last 11 months. She's tireless. I mean, I was on the couch getting exhausted with the Facebook. Like, honey, bring me a drink of water. I can't get through this. She was at every event, everywhere. In fact, I think the first job I was assigned to with the campaign was to search out social and networking opportunities and pass them along to Yolanda and Annetta. And I think, that's great, I'm gonna find these things. She was already there. Like, whoops, okay. And that's just talking about the events. What about these 5Ks? I couldn't get involved in that. I found out it meant running with your feet on the street. But the pictures were great. So, I mean, I had to come to her one day. I said, Yolanda, how do you do this? You're constantly going. She shared a secret. She said, well, once I get my lip gloss on, I can just go. So I want to know what's in that lip gloss. and I need some. She's not only tireless, but she's so very engaging. She did not meet a stranger over these 11 months. Old people, young people, black people, white people, it did not matter. And they were immediately taken with her. And they were immediately taken with her because she listened and she related. And they could tell on her face. And of course it was the smile too. The lip gloss and the teeth, I want both. I want both. She has been an amazing mentor to me and a great, great example to me and others. My admiration for her today rises to a new level, and I ask you to join me in celebrating a good and faithful friend and a good and faithful servant to the community, the Honorable Yolanda M. Trotman.
Thank you, everyone, and I'm going to keep it to 3.5 minutes. As I look out in the audience, I first want to say thank you for your prayers, for your support, for your encouragement, for everything. Because I know that I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors. I know that I stand on the shoulders of my family that support me. And most importantly, I celebrate my mother and my father, Reverend John Trotman and Josephine Trotman, who have since passed. Hence the reason for the candle and the 2 white roses that you see up here. I won't go into the background as far as my family because you've already heard that from my Uncle Fred. But I will say this, and I think it's so important. I want you all to know that my father is the person who truly encouraged me to remain connected to the community and how important the community is, and that is something that wasn't just apparent on the campaign trail as I was talking to people and trying to get them interested in judicial races. But as I've sat on the bench for the past couple of days, it has amplified the fact of how important it is that we have judges that serve the community and are connected to the community. I am honored to be a part of such a distinguished group of men and women. I thank you all for the support that you have already given me. But I also want you all to know how my mother certainly encouraged me how important it is to connect with young people. Hence teaching first, and then of course teaching after that on the college level. And I want you all to know that will not stop with the campaign. I intend to always remain involved with schools. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I love young people and I'll always be involved, but just from a very different perspective. The last thing I want to tell you very briefly is how important faith is to me. Not necessarily in the biblical sense, but faith in terms of believing that the thing can happen. A long time ago when I was in law school, I read a book by a woman named Yolanda Van Zandt. You may know her, seen her on Oprah, what have you. And I read something that stuck with me, and it was an acronym that was FAITH. Feel as if the thing has happened. F-A-I-T-H. Feel as if the thing has happened. And it stuck with me. So when I was studying for the bar, I put that acronym on my really gigantic compact Presario computer, and I saw it every day. When I decided to come to the public defender's office, I was nervous. That's what I wrote on my bedroom mirror at the time. When I decided that I wanted to start my own law practice, that's what I wrote on a Post-it note that I kept in my wallet. So every time I went to go write a check or to do something, I saw that. And on the day that I decided to go to Raleigh and to file for judge, that's the first thing I wrote on my bathroom mirror, was faith. Feel as if the thing has happened. We all know what faith means in the biblical sense. But for me, it's more important than that because you have to believe in yourself, not just in what you do in your everyday lives, but also have faith in what you're called to do in terms of service. I challenge each of you to make sure that you have faith in whatever that looks like, whatever that means to you. As a judge, I intend to make you proud. There are going to be times that it will be difficult. There will be difficult decisions. I do not take any of this lightly. I do not take it lightly that decisions I make will affect families, that will affect individuals, will affect a person's daily life.
And I pray for discernment, literally, every day, thanks to my friend Kenya, who sent me a prayer that was perfect. And I read it every morning, and I pray for discernment. What I ask from you is simple. I ask you for your prayers. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Uncle Fred. I'm sorry, I gotta call him Uncle Fred. Thank you, Uncle Fred. Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for your kind words. We do have a reception upstairs on the 9th floor. There's also a reception this afternoon at Dressler's, which is the metropolitan location, located not too far from here, if you know where the Trader Joe's, Best Buy, all of that is. That will begin at 5:30. I invite you to come by if you have time. We have free appetizers and all of that, so come by and enjoy and relax after you get done with work if you choose. But thank you, of course, Judge Miller, for presiding. And just thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love. I don't take any of it lightly. I love you. Thank you.
All right. So, welcome, Judge Trotman. I may have already told her this, and Judge Brooks as well. It was amazing to me when it was clear that Judge Trotman was going to join us on this, that all the lead judges that I have in various areas of law came to me and were lobbying me to place her in her assignments in their area of the court. So she should understand that her colleagues already have a high opinion of her. We know that she's going to do well in this position. And I think she's going to make all of you proud. I know she's going to make all of you proud. Right. This will conclude this session, ceremonial session of Superior District Court. Deputy, if you will recess the court.
All right. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This ceremony session now stands adjourned in honor of District Superior Court Judge Yolanda M. Trotman.
How you doing? I'm good.